lot recently about how I need to be doing hard labor. Sitting in front of a computer all day, even when I'm being productive, I'll never feel like I'll be doing enough. I crave having a lot of responsibility, but then there's a part of me that can't handle a lot of responsibility, and then there's another part of me that knows the fact that I feel like I can't handle a lot of responsibility is why I need more responsibility. Things are just so comfortable for a lot of people in the younger generation. We don't think twice about sleeping in our beds, snoozing on our alarms. There's people that don't have the luxury of doing that. They don't have the choice to stay in bed all day. There's something inside here. That looked like a wasp. I saw something flying on the camera. People that don't have the luxury of staying in bed all day because they don't even have a bed to sleep on. They need to hunt for food. They need to be doing hard labor to sustain themselves and their family. And of course, you shouldn't feel guilty about your circumstances. You didn't choose the circumstance that you have. You didn't choose for that person to have bad circumstances. But things that we do every day, we don't even think twice about. I also don't like feeling helpless whenever I'm able to sit comfortably, even if I am working hard on something while seeing other people doing manual labor. It makes me feel like I'm not even working hard. Even if I am doing something meant to enrich myself, I still feel like I'm just sitting around while somebody else is doing something for me. Realistically, I think most of us enjoy the benefits of having people do things for us, but also I don't like the feeling of sitting around watching this person do something for me. If I know that I'm capable of at least trying to assist that person, even if I'm trying to be productive in my own right, if that involves me just sitting in front of a computer, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And it's difficult because a lot of people are sitting in front of computers all day doing remote jobs. Even if they're not doing remote jobs, they're just sitting on technology all day to complete the tasks they're required to get their jobs done. Even if I'm exerting a lot of mental effort to get a certification in something or to learn a new skill that's going to potentially enhance my career prospects, I feel like I'm just contributing nothing compared to people that are actually doing hard labor. And I think another thing about this is it feels like torture for me to exert my focus and energy into one simple thing. I have a level of shame when it comes to that because I know my ancestors didn't have the luxury of having the lack of mental toughness that I feel like I have. A lot of people, especially younger people, have the luxury of just living so comfortably. We, in a way, have to exert less effort than the people before us. And of course, that's by design. A lot of technological innovations were created to make life more convenient for us. That is a good thing. That makes life more beneficial overall. But I think a lot of our survival skills have started to really dwindle down. My sense of direction is terrible. I can just use a GPS and we don't need to rely on instinctual survival skills. We have technology doing a lot of stuff for us. Back in the winter of 2023, I was working 2 seasonal retail jobs. I worked at Bath and Body Works and I worked at Costco simultaneously. So there would be some times where I would have a 12 or even a 13-hour workday because I had 8 hours at Costco and then maybe an hour or 2 break and then immediately another 7 or 8 hour shift at Bath and Body Works, especially during the holiday season when hours were starting to ramp up. And the work was grueling. This is in elementary school. It's not you're going to stay inside and watch a movie if it's freezing cold or if it's raining. No, you still have a job to do. You're going to be out there pushing carts even in freezing cold, in the pouring rain. And I remember doing that. There's sometimes when I worked in the bakery, there's sometimes where I worked pushing carts outside. There's sometimes where I worked in merchandising. There was sometimes whenever I would put go bags up, which is the items that people decided at the last minute they didn't want, and instead of having the decency to put them up, they just kind of put them anywhere in the store and we had to put them back in the right section. Whenever I worked in the merchandising section, it was especially frustrating because I would spend hours on my feet folding these clothes and then you have just inconsiderate people trying on the stuff and then throwing it right back on the table. You have people just leaving their carts in the middle of the parking lot instead of taking the 3 seconds it would require to just push them back in with the rest of the carts to make it easier for us to put them back in. It would be pitch black outside and we would be scattering around the parking lot looking for carts so that we could put them in the line at the front of the store. And with Bath and Body Works, especially whenever I was working a floor set, there was no clear end to those. It was just whenever you finished everything that you needed to do. There were some times where I was at that store until 12 or 1 a.m. The work was extremely grueling. While I didn't enjoy it, I never had that feeling of sitting around watching other people doing hard labor while I get to just sit comfortably and reap the benefits of their work. I got more satisfaction doing that work than I did spending hours on some online certification that is apparently being recommended so that I can get an internship. There's just something about being on my feet that makes me feel like I'm doing something meaningful. I think another example of this is yard work. I want to be doing my own yard work, mowing the lawn, pulling weeds out the grass, and I am going to start doing that more frequently. There's also so much fear that comes with mowing the lawn, having a piece of metal cut off a chunk of your leg, being outside and your neighbor's dog runs over to you and it startles you, and so you accidentally cut your foot off with the lawnmower. Mowing the lawn is a scary thing to do. Wait a second, what did your ancestors go through again? Mowing the lawn would be nothing compared to the stuff that they faced every day. And maybe you've just been a little bit too crippled by your own comfort. In order for me to have a sense of accomplishment and a sense of fulfillment, I need to be on my feet. One thing that I'm going to do about this is I'm going to be getting into volunteering more. I need to be out actually serving, and that's something that I've already started to do. I've signed up for a lot of volunteering events, but something that I am committed to making a normal part of my life. The other overarching theme of this is self-sufficiency, paying all the bills, paying for all of my stuff, paying for all my groceries. Now I need to be self-sufficient. I need to be making my own money. I need to be paying my own bills. I need to be cooking for myself. I'm trying to be wise, even though it's difficult, because I want to also enjoy my life and I want to have new experiences, but experiences cost a lot of money. In this job market, I don't know if you're guaranteed to have a job, and starting a business seems like an attractive idea, but the majority of businesses fail. You just cannot be emotionally attached to one idea. I can't be emotionally attached to the idea that I'm even going to have a career. I plan to have one. I want to have one, but nothing is guaranteed. I'm making it a point to hold on to any amount of money I get. The only thing that I really pay for is my groceries to sustain myself, but I don't spend a lot of leisure money. Occasionally I might buy a book, but besides that, I'm not ordering DoorDash unless it's for my groceries. There's just no way I can justify spending $25 on a meal. I'd rather just spend my money on groceries, be wise with my money, even though it's frustrating. I think it will pay off in the future. So that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you've had any similar thoughts, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all super soon in my next video. Peace.